Lisa Morgan stood in the training hangar and felt the eyes on her. 23 pairs of eyes. Catherine eyes that saw in infrared. Vex eyes that tracked movement in 3 dimensions. Human eyes that still did not understand what she was doing. She held the rifle in her hands. It looked wrong to everyone else. The barrel was long and made of real steel, not plasma crystal. The scope was old glass and brass, the kind her grandmother used 50 years ago on Earth. The stock was wood, actual wood from a tree, polished smooth by her own hands over 3 months. Commander Voris stood silent in the back of the hangar. His tall blue body did not move. His forearms hung still at his sides. The Kethran were the leaders of the Galactic Alliance, and they judged all humans by the standard of their own advanced technology. Lisa knew this. She did not care. "That is garbage," said Krell, a Vex trainee. He held a plasma rifle that hummed with energy. The weapon cost more than Lisa earned in 5 years. "We have computers that aim. We have targeting systems that cannot miss. Why do you use a dead thing?" Lisa did not look at him. She continued to assemble the firing pin with small, careful motions. Her hands knew every part of this rifle. She had built it piece by piece from salvage and old materials. It had no computer inside it. It had no communication system. It was just metal and wood and purpose. "Because I understand it," Lisa said. Her voice was quiet, but the hangar was silent, so everyone heard. "Understanding is not enough," said Commander Vorath. His voice was like stone. "Understanding does not win wars." Lisa turned to face him. Commander Vorath had fought in 17 wars. He had killed enemies with 17 different weapons. He had decided which humans would join the military academy, and he had chosen her, though no one knew why. "No, sir," Lisa said. "But patience does." The other human trainees laughed. They had learned the Kethran way. They had high-tech armor and weapons that changed shape. They believed in the philosophy of the Alliance, that better technology meant better warriors. Lisa was old-fashioned. Lisa was weak. Lisa was wasting a training slot that could go to someone serious. Marcus, another human, sat in the observation area and watched. He was a translator, not a soldier. His job was to help humans understand alien culture and words. He was smart and kind, and he did not laugh when Lisa said something strange. He just watched and thought about it. The first test came 3 days later. All the trainees had to shoot at targets that moved at different distances. The Kethran soldiers would fire from short range. The Vex would fire from medium range. The humans would fire from whatever distance they could hit. Lisa walked to the 500-meter line. The Vex trainees shot from 50 meters with perfect accuracy. Their plasma bolts vaporized the targets instantly. The Kethran soldiers shot from 200 meters. Their advanced rifles calculated wind and gravity shifts and fired with no error. Lisa looked through her old glass scope. She saw the target far away. She felt the air. She knew there was a wind coming from the north at 3 meters per second. The gravity here was 98% of Earth normal. The target moved on a pattern that repeated every 4 seconds. She waited. She did not fire when the target moved fast. She waited for the moment when it slowed. When the moment came, she fired. The bullet traveled across the distance. It struck the target in the center. The old mechanical rifle had no computer to celebrate. It just sat there, waiting for the next shot. "1 hit," said the scoring system. Acceptable. The Vex had 40 hits. The Kethran had 39 hits. Lisa had 1 hit. Commander Vorath said nothing. He watched the numbers. He watched Lisa. Then he turned and walked away. That night, Lisa sat in the barracks and cleaned her rifle. The other human soldiers ignored her. They worked on their equipment, which had AI systems that told them what to do. Lisa worked with oil and cloth and memory. Her grandmother had taught her to shoot when she was 8 years old. Back on Earth, her grandmother had taught her that a rifle was not just a weapon. It was a conversation between the shooter and the distance. Marcus came to her bunk and sat down. He was not supposed to be in the barracks. Translators had separate housing. But Marcus did things his own way. "Why do you do it?" Marcus asked. "Everyone knows you are wrong." Lisa did not stop cleaning. The barrel was perfect now, smooth and ready. "My grandmother told me something," Lisa said. "She said that in a world where everyone has the same tool, the person who understands their tool wins. But in a world where everyone has complicated tools, the person with a simple tool that they truly understand might be the only one left alive." Marcus thought about this. "That sounds like it could be wrong." "Yes," Lisa said. "It probably is." But she did not change her rifle. The next weeks were hard. The other soldiers pushed Lisa in training. Not to help her, to beat her. The Kethrin did not believe in wasting resources on weak soldiers. The Vex believed that only the strongest deserved to survive. The humans wanted to prove they belonged in the Alliance, and Lisa was holding them back. Commander Vorath watched everything. He never helped. He never told her to stop. He just watched. One day, when Lisa was tired and bruised and covered in dust from a training exercise, Vorath came to her. His 4 eyes looked at her face. "Come with me," he said. They walked to a private room in the training facility. No windows. No other soldiers. Just Vorath and Lisa. "Why did I choose you?" Vorath asked. Lisa did not know the answer. "Because I have seen what your kind can do," Vorath said. "I have studied your history. Long ago, before we had computers, humans hunted with simple tools. They hunted creatures that were bigger, faster, and stronger. They hunted creatures with technology far beyond simple stones and spears. But humans hunted them anyway. Do you know why?" Lisa said nothing. "Because humans understand something that others do not," Vorath said. "You understand patience. You understand distance. You understand that to survive, you do not need the strongest weapon. You need the right weapon used at the right moment by someone who has thought every detail." He moved closer. His voice became very quiet. "Only snipers survive what comes," Vorath said. "Everyone else will die. Do you understand?" Lisa did understand. She did not know what was coming yet, but she knew that Commander Vorath was telling her something true. "Yes," she said. "I understand." The message came 2 weeks later. The high-level briefing room was locked. No recordings. No electronic devices. Just the leadership of the Alliance. General North, the human commander, stood before the Kethrin Council and the Vex senators and the representatives of 7 other species. His face was serious. "There's a threat," he said. "An organized group of operatives from multiple species has decided that the peace we have built is a mistake. They want war." The room became cold. "We have discovered the plot, but only partially," General North continued. "We know that an assassination is planned. The target is the High Council of the Alliance. If the Council dies, the species will blame each other. The Alliance will break. War will follow." Commander Vorath stood without moving. His eyes looked at Lisa, who stood at the back of the room as part of the human security detail. "The assassination will happen at the Unified Summit," North said. 2 weeks from now, at the neutral station between human and Kethrin territory. The location will be known by all the species. There will be thousands of people. And somewhere in that crowd, there will be an assassin who is very good at their job." A Kethrin senator stood up. "We will cancel the summit." "No," North said. "That will show weakness. It will show fear. And it will not stop them. They will try again at the next gathering." This is our chance to find them and stop them while they are committed to one location. The meeting lasted 4 hours. Plans were discussed. Security protocols were set. The summit would happen. The council would be protected. The assassins would be caught, but no one had an answer for the real problem. The assassin was good. Good enough that all the security systems in the galaxy might not find them in time. That night, Lisa was called to a secondary briefing. Just her, just Commander Vorath. They stood in the same private room as before. I cannot tell you everything, Vorath said, but I can tell you this. The threat is real. The assassin is real. And conventional security will not work. He moved to the wall and brought up a hologram. It showed the summit station. The layout was complex. Many rooms. Many sightlines. Many places where a killer could hide. We need someone who sees what others cannot see, Vorath said. Someone who understands distance and wind and the moment of truth. Someone who carries a weapon that cannot be tracked by electronic systems. Lisa understood then. You want me to be there, hidden? Yes, Vorath said. Not as a guard. Not as part of any team. Alone, with your rifle. Waiting for the moment when the assassin reveals themselves. If I miss, the council dies, Lisa said. Yes, Vorath said. If you miss, the Alliance dies. Lisa felt the weight of these words. They were not soft words. They were the truth, and the truth was heavy. How will I know who the assassin is? Lisa asked. You will read the room, Vorath said. You will see what the security cameras cannot see. You will watch the people who do not belong. And you will understand the moment when someone becomes a killer. Vorath brought his hand close to Lisa's face. Not to hurt her. To show her that he was serious. This is why I chose you, he said. Not because your rifle is good. Because you think like a sniper. You see the space between the moments. You understand that survival is not about weapons. It is about understanding. Lisa stood in that room and felt her life change. She was no longer just a soldier in training. She was becoming something else. Something that existed between peace and war. Something that had to be ready to take a life to save thousands. What if I cannot do it? Lisa asked. Then many will die, Vorath said. But you will do it. Because you are the only one who can. Over the next 2 weeks, Lisa began training for the real mission. Not in the public hangar with other soldiers. Alone. In the dark. Learning the station layout from images and data. Understanding every angle. Every sightline. Every place where a sniper could hide, and every place where they could shoot from. She studied wind patterns. The station had artificial gravity and recycled air. These would affect the bullet's path just like wind and gravity on a planet's surface. She calculated the numbers. She understood the distances. Marcus came to her one night. He had been assigned as a controller. This meant that during the mission, he would be in a hidden room somewhere in the station, watching security cameras and talking to her through a communication channel. He would be her eyes when she could not see. He would be her connection to the rest of the world. Are you afraid? Marcus asked. Lisa was cleaning her rifle. She had cleaned it 100 times since the order came. The weapon was perfect. It was ready. Yes, she said. I am afraid. Good, Marcus said. Fear means you understand what you are doing. Fear means you are taking this seriously. Lisa looked at him. Marcus was not a soldier. He was a translator. He understood words and culture and meaning. But he also understood something about the burden of having special knowledge. If I take the shot, it will change things, Lisa said. It will show that humans can do something no one else can do. It will change how other species see us. And it will make humans think they are more important than they are. Yes, Marcus said. All of that is true. But if you do not take the shot, everything dies. So you take the shot. You do not take it because you want to change the galaxy. You take it because it is the right thing to do. Marcus sat with her in the darkness. They did not talk about the mission anymore. They talked about Earth. They talked about Lisa's grandmother and the mountains where she learned to shoot. They talked about the life that Lisa had before all of this, when her biggest worry was whether she would make it into the human military academy. The old Lisa was gone now. That person did not exist anymore. The person she was becoming was something new. Something that existed alone in high places, waiting for the moment when everything would depend on her. 2 days before the summit, Lisa was taken to the station. No one knew she was there. She was hidden in maintenance areas, places where no one looked. She carried her rifle. She carried ammunition. She carried nothing else. Commander Vorath's last words to her were simple. Only snipers survive what comes. Be the survivor. The unified summit began with ceremony. Music played through speakers. Delegates from 8 species walked through the main gathering area. Representatives from human colonies, Kethrin worlds, Vex territories, and smaller species all came together. There was hope in the air. People believed in the alliance. People wanted peace. Lisa was 300 meters away, hidden in a sealed-off corridor behind the station's artificial environment systems. A rifle was positioned through a gap that looked like a ventilation shaft. The gap was too small for anyone to notice unless they were looking for it. No one was looking for it. Through her scope, she could see the gathering area. She could see the people walking. She could see the place where the High Council would sit. She could see everything. For 6 hours, nothing happened. Other assassination attempts were stopped. A Kethrin soldier tried to bring a weapon into the gathering area. Security stopped him. A Vex operative tried to poison food in the council's dining room. Security found the poison. The threat level went down. People relaxed. Lisa did not relax. She stayed in position. Her eye was on the scope. Her breathing was steady. Her hands did not shake. Marcus was in her ear through the communication system. His voice was calm. "You are doing good," he said. "Stay ready." Then, at hour 8 of the summit, something changed. Lisa saw it before the security system saw it. A delegate who had been talking to other people suddenly moved to a new position. The movement was smooth and natural, but it was wrong. It was the movement of someone who was not actually a diplomat. It was the movement of someone who had studied the room and knew exactly where they needed to be. "Marcus," Lisa said. Her voice was very quiet. "I see something." "Describe it," Marcus said. Lisa described the delegate. Height, build, the way they walked, the way they held their hands. Marcus checked the security database. The delegate was registered. Everything was correct. But Lisa knew better. She knew that this person did not belong. "I think this is it," Lisa said. "Keep watching," Marcus said. "Do not take action yet. Wait for the moment." The delegate moved through the room. People talked to them. The delegate responded with words and smiles. But inside, Lisa could see the cold purpose. This was the assassin. The High Council entered the gathering area. There were 5 of them. 1 Kethrin leader, 1 Vex senator, 1 human general, 1 smaller being from a planet near the galactic rim, 1 being that was almost made of light. They sat down at a special table. Security surrounded them, but not too close. They wanted it to look natural. They wanted it to look like peace. The assassin moved closer. Very slowly, very carefully. Lisa's finger rested next to the trigger. Not on it. Next to it. Waiting. The assassin reached inside their clothing. They were going to pull out the weapon. This was the moment. This was the only moment when Lisa could take the shot and stop them before they fired. Lisa thought about her grandmother. Her grandmother had taught her about the weight of taking a life, about the moment when you understand that you are about to change the world with your action. But her grandmother had also taught her that sometimes you had to choose. You could choose to fire and save the council and change the galaxy. Or you could choose not to fire and let thousands die and watch the world burn. There was no good choice. There was only the choice that was less bad. Lisa fired. The mechanical rifle did not hum or glow. It just made a sound. Crack. One simple sound. The bullet traveled across 300 meters. It moved through the artificial air of the station. It accounted for the gravity that was not quite Earth normal. It moved past the council member made of light, who was so fragile that they had to be protected by a special energy field. The bullet struck the assassin's weapon just as they pulled it out. The weapon was destroyed. The energy cell inside broke and scattered. Particles across the floor. The assassin stood there holding a useless piece of metal. For 1 second, there was silence. Then chaos. Security moved in from everywhere. The assassin was on the ground. Weapons were pointed at them. The High Council was safe. The summit was safe. Lisa did not move. She stayed in position. She stayed silent. No one knew where the shot came from. No one knew that a human with an old rifle had just saved the Alliance. She stayed hidden for another hour. Then she was told through the communication system to leave. She took her rifle and moved through the station's hidden corridors. She was extracted by human soldiers who knew not to ask questions. They took her to a ship. The ship left the station and moved toward human space. Marcus was waiting for her when she landed. He was crying. "You did it," he said. "You did the thing that no one else could do." Lisa handed him her rifle. "I killed someone today," she said. "No," Marcus said. "You saved thousands of people." Lisa knew that both things were true at the same time. And she knew that she would have to live with both truths for the rest of her life. The investigation took 3 days. Security personnel worked to understand how the shot had been taken from the inside of the station. They looked at every security camera. They found the sealed corridor where Lisa had hidden. They found the ventilation gap. They understood the geometry of the shot. Commander Vorath presented his findings to the High Council. He stood alone before them and explained everything. "We placed a sniper inside the station," Vorath said. "She was not part of any team. She was not visible in any security scan. She carried a weapon that produces no electronic signature. When the assassin revealed themselves, the sniper took the shot and destroyed the weapon. Why was this hidden from us?" The Vex senator demanded. Because if the assassin knew that a sniper was present, the assassin would not have revealed themselves, Vorath explained. The element of surprise was essential. Who is this sniper? The human general asked, though he already knew the answer. Her name is Lisa Morgan. She is a human from Earth. She completed her training 3 weeks ago. The council looked at each other. A human, a young human, someone who had just finished training. She had done what their security systems could not do. She had saved their lives. "Bring her before us," the Kethran leader said. Lisa was brought to the council chamber. She wore her military uniform. Her rifle was not with her. She stood straight and did not look at anyone. "You killed one of our own," the Vex senator said. A Vex operative was trying to assassinate the council. "You killed them." "I destroyed the weapon," Lisa said. The operative was captured alive. They were not killed. The Vex senator was silent. This was true. The intelligence reports confirmed it. Lisa had aimed for the weapon, not the person. "Why did you not target the operative?" the Kethran leader asked. "Because I was ordered to stop the assassination," Lisa said. The operative was a tool. The weapon was the real threat. I stopped the threat in the way that would cause the least death. Commander Vorath stood and spoke. Lisa Morgan demonstrated the highest level of sniping skill. Her understanding of the situation, her patience, her precise execution of the mission. These things are the qualities that make a great soldier in the Alliance. The human general stood. We are proud of Lisa Morgan. She represents the best of humanity. She understands that in this galactic community, we bring something that others do not have. We bring patience. We bring the ability to make the difficult choice when everything is on the line. The Kethran leader stood. We propose that Lisa Morgan be given a new position. Head of the Alliance Special Precision Operations Division. She will train soldiers from all species in the art of sniping. She will lead a team that handles operations that regular military cannot handle. I second this proposal, the Vex senator said. Even though they had lost an operative, they understood military logic. Lisa had solved a problem that no one else could solve. The vote was unanimous. Lisa Morgan was promoted and given command of a division that did not yet exist. She would build it. She would choose her soldiers. She would teach them the way her grandmother had taught her. After the council meeting, Marcus came to her. He was smiling. You are a commander now, he said. I do not feel like a commander, Lisa said. I feel like the same person who was mocked in the training hangar. That person still exists, Marcus said. But now other people understand what that person was doing. Commander Vorath approached them. His 4 eyes looked at Lisa. The mockery is over, he said. But your real work is just beginning. You will find soldiers from our species and other species who think like you. You will teach them to see what others cannot see. You will teach them to be the people who survive when everything else is falling apart. What if I am not good enough to teach them? Lisa asked. You took a shot from 300 meters through artificial air and destroyed a weapon that was smaller than your hand, Vorath said. You are good enough. The next 3 months were busy. Lisa set up a training program. She brought in soldiers from human military who had studied precision operations. She brought in Kethran warriors who understood patience. She brought in Vex operatives who could see in different light spectrums. She brought in soldiers from other species who all had different ways of understanding the world. She taught them the same way her grandmother had taught her. Not with words and lectures, with practice and repetition and small corrections. With the understanding that a sniper is not just a shooter. A sniper is someone who reads the world and makes decisions based on that reading. The other human soldiers who had mocked her in the training hangar came to her. They wanted to join the division. Lisa took some of them. The ones who understood that they were wrong. The ones who understood that sometimes the old ways have value in a new world. Lisa stood in the training facility one day and looked at the soldiers who were learning to shoot. They used different weapons. Some used plasma rifles. Some used mechanical rifles like hers. Some used energy weapons that tracked targets across distances that human eyes could not see, but they all had the same training. They all learned to wait. They all learned to read the distance and the air and the gravity and the moment. They all learned that a sniper is someone who understands that technology is a tool, not a replacement for thought. You were right, Marcus said to her that night. Your rifle was not garbage. It was understanding made into metal. Lisa was cleaning her rifle. The same rifle that had saved the Alliance. The same rifle that everyone had mocked. My grandmother used to say that the best weapon is the one that works when everything else fails, Lisa said. A mechanical rifle works when electronic systems are jammed or broken. It works when there is no power source. It works because it is simple and true. Marcus sat next to her. Do you think they understand that now? Some of them, Lisa said. The rest will understand when they need to understand it. 6 months after the summit, Lisa received a message. There was a threat. Not an assassination this time. Something worse. A rogue faction had taken control of a station near the human border. They held 300 hostages. They wanted territory and resources and recognition as an independent power. The High Command wanted to use military force, send in combat troops, take the station by assault. Lisa went to Commander Vorath. They sat in the same private room where their story had started. "What do you think?" Vorath asked. "An assault will kill hostages," Lisa said. "The station is designed so that the hostage areas have multiple security seals. An explosion in the assault will damage those seals. People will die. So we do nothing?" Vorath asked. "No," Lisa said. "We use snipers. We put teams in position around the station. We wait for the moment when the leaders of the faction are visible. We take them out, and the faction will collapse. Without leaders, without a clear objective, the fighters will surrender." Vorath listened. "And the hostages?" "Will be safe," Lisa said, "because the threat to them will be eliminated without destruction of the station." Vorath was silent for a moment. Then he stood and nodded. "You have learned what I hoped you would learn." The operation took 2 weeks to plan. Lisa placed 12 sniper teams in positions around the station. Each team had human snipers and alien snipers from the species that had joined the division. They had different weapons. They had different ways of seeing the world. But they all had the same training. Lisa positioned herself in the command center, watching the real-time data from all 12 teams. She was no longer just a sniper. She was a commander of snipers. For 3 days, the teams waited. They watched the leaders of the rogue faction. They understood the patterns. They waited for the moment when all the leaders would be visible at the same time. On the 4th day, that moment came. All 12 snipers took their shots at the exact same second. 12 different targets. 12 different weapons. One unified purpose. The leaders of the rogue faction were neutralized. The armed soldiers inside the station saw this happen. They understood that resistance was pointless. They surrendered. The hostages were released without a single casualty. The human general came to Lisa and shook her hand. "You have done something remarkable. You have created a military division that is more effective than armies twice its size." "No," Lisa said. "I just took what my grandmother taught me and gave it to others. The real work is what they do with that knowledge." Marcus was waiting for her after the mission. They stood on a viewing platform and looked out at the stars. "Do you remember when everyone thought you were crazy?" Marcus asked. "I remember," Lisa said. "I remember thinking that maybe they were right. Maybe I was just a person who did not understand how the modern world worked." "You understood something better," Marcus said. "You understood that understanding itself is more important than technology. That seeing the truth is more important than having the newest weapon." Lisa thought about her grandmother. She thought about the mountains on Earth where she learned to shoot. She thought about the path that had brought her to this point. "I have been thinking," Lisa said. "I want to go back to Earth. I want to find other people like me. People who understand the old ways. People who see things that others do not see. I want to bring them into the division." "That is a good idea," Marcus said. 3 months later, Lisa was on Earth. She walked through the mountains where her grandmother had lived. The mountains were green and beautiful and full of quiet places. She found 7 people who understood what she understood. Soldiers who had left the military because no one wanted them. Hunters who saw the world in a way that cameras could not see. Teachers who understood that wisdom was more important than speed. She brought them back to the training facility. She taught them. They became master snipers. They became the foundation of what the division would become. Commander Vorath came to her one day and brought her to a place she had never been before. It was a memorial, a wall with the names of soldiers who had died protecting the Alliance. But this wall was different. It had names of soldiers from every species. Human and Catherine and Vex and others. This wall exists because you understood that we could work together, Varus said. Before you, each species fought separately. We did not trust each other. But you created a division where humans and aliens train together, where they trust each other with their lives, where they understand that survival comes from unity. Lisa looked at the wall. She saw names of soldiers she had trained. She saw names of soldiers who had died protecting the Alliance. I did not do this, Lisa said. I just show people that the old ways have value. No, Varus said. You did something harder. You changed how people think. You made them understand that advancement is not always about having more technology. Sometimes advancement is about understanding more deeply. Lisa stood before the High Council one more time. This time, she was not being given a new assignment. She was being honored. They gave her a medal. They gave her the title of commander. They gave her authority to create new divisions across the entire Alliance. But the thing that meant the most was something Varus said. He said it in front of all the leaders of all the species. Lisa Morgan came to us with a weapon that looked like it belonged in the past. Everyone mocked her. Everyone believed she was wrong. But she understood something that we had forgotten. She understood that only snipers survive. Not snipers with weapons. Snipers with vision. Snipers with patience. Snipers with the courage to see the truth and act on it when everyone else is blind. He paused and looked directly at Lisa. In this galaxy, Voreth said, there are many powerful beings, many advanced civilizations, many weapons that can destroy worlds. But we have learned from Lisa Morgan that the most dangerous weapon is the person who understands the distance between what is and what could be. The person who is patient enough to wait for the moment of truth. The person who sees what others cannot see. Lisa heard these words and understood that her life had truly changed. The girl with the old rifle was gone. The woman who stood before the council was someone new. Someone who had learned that understanding the world was more important than controlling it. Someone who had learned that patience was stronger than power. Years passed. Lisa trained thousands of soldiers, human and alien, soldiers from species that had never trusted each other, soldiers who learned to work together because they understood that survival came from seeing the truth and acting on it. Lisa wrote down everything her grandmother had taught her. She created manuals and training programs. She made sure that what her grandmother knew would not be lost. One day, when Lisa was no longer young, she stood in the same training facility where she had started. She held her old rifle. The weapon was still in perfect condition. It had been used in 17 operations. It had saved thousands of lives. A young soldier, both human and alien, stood before her. They were the new generation, the ones who had learned what Lisa had learned. The ones who understood that seeing was more important than shooting. Why do you still use that old weapon? One of the young soldiers asked. Lisa smiled. Because it reminds me that understanding comes before power. Because it reminds me that patience is more valuable than speed. Because it reminds me that the most important things in life are the ones that last. She looked at the young soldier. And because, she said, only snipers survive what comes. And a sniper is not a person with a weapon. A sniper is a person who sees the truth. The young soldier understood. Lisa had not just created a division of soldiers. She had created a philosophy, a way of seeing the world, a way of being that would last long after she was gone. The rifle that everyone had mocked became the symbol of the division. On the memorial wall, it was inscribed with words that Lisa had written. The strongest weapon is not the one that destroys the most. The strongest weapon is the one that understands the most. The strongest weapon is the one carried by a person who sees what others cannot see and has the courage to act on that vision. Lisa stood in the starlight and looked at the galaxy. Somewhere out there, people were learning to be snipers. People from every species. People who understood that survival came from vision, not from power. People who understood that only snipers survive what comes.